Dave.
Yes.
Oh, hey, good morning. How are you?
I am wiped after hitting that many shots.
You hit a lot of shots, so I want to talk about what you just did.
I hit a lot of shots.
First, we had you take, I think you had 13 clubs. You hit all 13? Not your putter?
Not putter, not driver.
Not driver. Okay, so 12 clubs.
Yep, 12 clubs.
You hit 12 clubs. You hit anywhere between 3 and 10 shots in this brand new Foresight program.
Yes.
So this was really cool. I think you hit 3 or 4 with all of them. What this enables you to do then is see a nice little graphical representation about where you hit all of your clubs. So now we can talk about distance and how far you hit each one. That isn't the only thing that matters. Dispersion would be great to have eventually. I think we'll keep working on that part here also. But here we go. So your lob wedge is the first one I've got highlighted here. 87 total yards, and then I know a little bit about your game in that you don't try to hit that full.
I never hit it full. I did it for this test because that's what we're trying to do is get distance gapping. But
are you too nervous about like sculling one over the green, or when you swing hard, do you fat them all the time or shank them like Sabrina?
Almost just get under them and hit them short. So
gotcha.
Inside of the sand wedge was 112 or so. So anywhere from there. Really probably down to close to where I hit that, like maybe 75 yards or so. I'm hitting part sand wedges.
So then you hit those. I
got the Glide 2.0 wedges.
Yeah, I know we didn't talk about this. Yep. Sorry, Harvey. I know
4 degrees of difference between the two.
Yeah.
So I got a 58 degree lob wedge and then a 54 degree sand wedge.
So most people who hit their lob wedge and don't hit it far enough relative to say your other clubs, like that's the case for you, hit and have too much dynamic loft when they hit. So you have too much spin loft too, which is ultimately the piece to control how much backspin you put on it. So practicing for you, if you wanted to, hitting your 58, not hard, but trying to hit it as low as you could.
Yep.
You see these marks up here on the net or about where I have the club. If you kept trying to hit shots under that for a while, you could start training yourself how to have the dynamic loft lower. It's really how you bend your wrists.
Yep.
You definitely got your left wrist extending too quickly and spinning the ball too much. So that could help you, but that in of itself isn't even the true story. Now, lob wedge 87 yards, sand wedge 112. I do agree pretty much with the broad sweeping statements that are on here that the wedges having something about 12 yards in between those clubs would be good. And you're at about 25 yards. So I might ask you, do you have like a hard time hitting a shot that's maybe 95 yards into the wind? Is that kind of tricky, or what do you do then?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those I've learned a couple of different ways to just adjust my sand wedge swing. Okay. So one will be normal swing and choke it down maybe an inch or so, right? And just hit it, shorten the club, exactly. And then another one will just be what to me feels like a 3/4 swing. I know it's probably a little bit bigger than that, but that's kind of my mindset.
Slows it
on
down
that shot.
Okay, so you hit a lot of the smaller sand wedges to accommodate that. Okay, I think that's really good, and good players can get away with that. If anyone watching this has a 25-yard gap between your two most lofted clubs and you don't play very much, anything in between there is really tricky. It's hard to hit those shots.
Yeah, if the only thing I had in my bag was a full swing, that would be a nightmare at 90, 95 yards.
So next up is you can see the dispersion though. So that's down here in the bottom. Those 3 shots you hit right by the line. The next 3 over here are your sand wedge. Not much to talk about there. Next 3 are your gap wedge. Those are really tight. 14 yards in between each one of those shots. Pitching wedge looks like a similar story. 15 yards in there. So I'd say from your sand wedge to your pitching wedge, those 3 clubs, you have some really good spacings in there. You still can keep going down that road again with a 9-iron. You hit that 17 yards further on average than the pitching wedge. So all those are looking pretty good. The 10 yards in between clubs is good, except at elevation we're hitting it much further than the average player. So you're going to be closer to 15 yards in between these clubs, which you have. Now we start getting into some interesting ones though. Your 8-iron, and I don't know if you hit these really well or if this is just normal, those you did only hit about 10 yards further than your 9-iron.
So on the next 2 clubs sequentially, not by the yardage on there, which we'll get to here in a minute, the 8-iron I did feel like I missed a little bit, and then for whatever reason the 7-iron I just felt like I nuked 3 of them.
Nailed that? Okay. So then that for you, I would use this as like a single kind of data point, not the whole world of deciding what to do with your clubs next. So your point is really, you're doing great. Nice job panting. 8-iron 169, 7-iron 196. So if that were typical, then I'd start talking to you about how we can take your 8-iron and take a few degrees of loft off of that. And then also add a few degrees of loft to your 7-iron. because even that, you only hit 7 yards further than your 6-iron.
Yep.
So if nothing else, like we're going through this at a pretty slow pace right now, but being able to run through an appointment like this with a coach is a pretty big deal because it gives you the chance to see how far you hit all of your clubs. This is maybe one of the most important things that, quite honestly, we probably neglect in the hitting bay. Too much, not all the time, but too much, and that's why I wanted to really integrate this into what we do every day. Every student that we have should be going through.
This is amazing. I wish I had something like this back when I was in bay teaching. I did try to do some of this stuff, but with basically a piece of notebook paper and our launch device at the time.
Yeah.
But it is amazing because something like this is sobering to people to help understand. This is actually how you really hit the ball, which I think you're going to get to some sobering numbers here in a minute.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. But so for now, don't change your clubs just based on the 169 8-iron and the 196 7-iron. But know that if you do go play and you keep struggling with this, the lofts on your irons can be adjusted.
Yep.
So, yeah, in between here, in between the 7 and the 8-iron is this 4-iron.
Yeah, how about it, huh?
Yeah, that's not where that goes.
I will tell you what. So the way this test went down is I went in order. So we started with lob wedge, worked all the way up the set, got to 3-wood. Yeah. I was tired by the time I got done hitting. By the time I got to the 4-iron, so the 5-iron I hit okay. 4-iron I could not scrape together enough hits to even to get the register, and I said, "Screw it, we're going to move on." Yeah. And then we went and hit the hybrid. Hybrid I hit okay, and then I ended with the fairway wood, which I hit well. Hit the fairway wood well.
I beat you up on this one to hit all 13 of those clubs and hit that many shots.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's just more than what you would do on a golf course.
Yeah.
So I would tell most people, do your gapping of your wedges one day, your irons another, and then the long end of your bag, maybe 5-iron up to the driver.
That would have been a awesome way to do it, because I also probably could have gotten a single session done in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, would have been quick.
This whole thing took closer to 45 or 50 with some misses and things like that, and having to redo a few. So
you really want to do this with broken up into segments. Use only good shots, don't use bad ones. That way when you're standing out on the course and you have a shot from, say, 196, you know that a good 7-iron is going to be the right shot, and that's what you're going to try to hit is a good 7-iron, so that's why that one becomes important. So I know you mishit some 4-irons, that's fine for sure. Your distance gapping between your 6 and your 5 looks appropriate, that's about 14 yards. The 4-iron just didn't fit in there.
Complete misses, just awful swings. It was probably my fault, not the clubs.
So we'll do it. Those are nice ping irons. I know it's not the
It was not it was not my Ping i500 irons for anybody out there listening from Ping or that plays Ping.
So if you slide the 4-iron over, if you hit that about 15 yards further than your 5-iron, that'd be your 232 range, which was your hybrid. So if your hybrid went 232 and your 4-iron went 232, you'd have a useless club in your bag. And if that's pretty typical of how you play anyway, then trying something like the G410.
So I tell you, this was just an interesting session for me. I'm hoping that at some point you're going to show my 3-wood shots, because they were way better than my 4-iron and my 2 hybrid shots.
I don't know. I kind of like it this way.
But I tell you what, next year or maybe even for this year, when it comes time to put some new sticks in the bag, I'm definitely going to get a 5-wood, and then probably a hybrid, like a 3-iron type hybrid, 4-iron type hybrid, depending on what the exact lofts are, and then start my set probably at my 5-iron.
Yeah, that seems like it would probably be reasonable based off this one test, and if you feel like this is at all remotely how golf typically is for you, then and these are super easy to hit. You did mention off camera, though, we were talking about why you don't play hybrids.
It's been years. I couldn't even tell you what the last true hybrid was that I played. The 2 hybrid that's on the screen is actually more of like a driving iron. It's the Ping crossover. Back when I used to play true hybrids, I hooked it a lot. So my miss was just, I usually hit a lot of draws anyway. It's kind of my normal shot pattern, but those seem to just go way off the planet, hooking them off the planet. So.
So I'll just hand you this.
Okay.
That X that I just drew, I don't know if you watched any of the shows. This was pre-Dave Balter.
I watched a few, and actually you guys tested a couple of my clubs. I don't know if they made it into the cut, but
no, we probably haven't.
You tested a few of my of my equipment for those.
So we've got the center of gravity on hybrids tends to be a little too toeward relative to what you want. Can you hand that over to the camera or show them about where I did that? It's a black X, so it's hard to see. But I just drew it probably like a 1/2 of an inch that far towards the heel of the club. 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch, somewhere in there. And that's where I would hit it if I were worried about overdrawing. The center of gravity is harder to get towards the toe. And on that, quite honestly, it's going to launch it really high from that location on the club anyway. So So you probably aren't aiming in the right spot if you're trying to hit.
Probably,
those
yeah.
hybrids.
I was probably aiming in the middle, right? Might catch a few on the toe.
And then
I
there's
might
a
get,
bigger draw.
I might get a little nervous aligning it that close to the hosel.
It's crazy, right?
I don't want to
Yeah.
hit a Sabrina shank off of a wood, but
Producer Sabrina does have that problem. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Even if I drew that there and you hit it towards the toe relative to that spot slightly, you're still a little bit heelward. That's the point of drawing it there. And then the first thing I would do is just practice like that for a while. Hit 15, 20 shots trying to hit there and see what your results are. I bet they're different.
Yep.
So we're not going to do that now because I did want to just show this appointment, but that would be I'll tell you after watching this, that'd be a good start. I think everybody, good player or bad player, almost doesn't matter. If you're struggling at all in the upper part of your bag, the hybrids are so good now. Like the Sim Max is being played by a few players. Colin Morikawa just won this week in Ohio. He has 2 of them that he alternates depending on how high he wants to hit it for the week. He doesn't use them both at the same time. But Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, all playing that Sim Max hybrid. But these are awesome too. I really like the way the Ping 410 is really set up.
Definitely need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
I see 3 shots there out to the right of the 2 hybrid. What are those?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. You really want to see those, don't you?
I don't want to end on
fair.
looking at how crappy I hit my 4-iron in my 2 hybrid.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one then. So yeah, I slide this out like another 100 yards, and you can see how your 3 wood went 34 yards on average further than your 2 hybrid.
Yeah.
So if you hit that well, let me see the dispersion. It looks like those are the longest shots, a little bit to the right.
A little bit,
but not much. It's a pretty good shot. So I think in all, you've got a cool product that everybody who's serious about golf should be doing. You can't really do this at a driving range. You can't do it without a launch monitor. It would take too long to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And
I made the mistake of blaming myself. I don't have the right equipment, so I got to
not your
delete
fault
2
at all.
clubs, get 2 more, and then find more excuses.
Are you buying that? You believe in that one? I don't know. I don't think he's in. Yeah, so you can do this with a professional coach who has a launch monitor. If you haven't done something like this, you need to do it. So whether you take golf lessons with us or someone else, it doesn't matter to me, ever. Just keep doing whatever you think makes the most sense to get better. But you need a product like this. The brand new Foresight software does it, and you can do this with a GOLFTEC coach.
Amazing product.
Yeah.
It was actually super fun. Other than the 20 minutes of my life I'd like to get back when I was hitting my 4-iron and my 2 hybrid. It was a great product, and I've been the guy out there on the range just trying to swat at and figure it out. The nice thing about being in here is I'm able to hit my golf ball, so it's, I don't hit the range balls. I pull my golf balls out. I'm getting real world type numbers, and I'm gonna, be able to go off of just about everything on the screen. 4 and 2 were just mishits, so I'll throw those distances away and not remember those. But I mean, it was great to see.
Yeah, no, I think it's convenient, really. So it is. So you can save a bunch of time. We get that GOLFTEC question all the time. Well, you're not at a driving range hitting off the grass, so this can't possibly work.
Yeah.
It's the total opposite of that.
Also,
really.
It's 95 today outside, so being in here was much more
65
comfortable.
in here, so it's not bad.
I love it.
But no, we have the equipment and the tools right here that allow a coach to go through a lesson very quickly and give you good advice without wasting a bunch of time. That's what most people are doing outdoors anyway. So we lost Harvey. It's probably time to stop.
That's what I look like after swinging for an hour and hitting all those shots.
Snoring. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, though, we're going to do the draw drivers and why they're not as forgiving as the drivers that really aren't made to draw.
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm curious to understand why do lie boards lie?
Lie boards, they lie. Yes, it's an
I'm interested to find. Guys,
old
back when I used to
adage, but
back when I used to
yes,
fit,
makes
we
sense.
used lie boards. So
Exactly.
I've been lying this whole time. Fake news in the fitting.
Fake news. For some more real news, let's do some of that tomorrow.
Sounds great.